whoa, poor Bob.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're back. You may notice the title is Some Fed Talk with the post-play power show with Bob Howard. He is the voice of the Binghamton Blackbirds. Yes, folks, we said it. The voice of the Binghamton Blackbirds is on Some Fed Talk. Now, Bob, let's get down to brass tacks.
Okay.
Let's tell the world who you are. I mean, I probably already said it, but let's begin with that.
And you almost got the name of the show correct, too. Almost. So close. My name's Bob Howard, Power Play Post Show. I started podcasting back in 2004 before the word was actually a word. Actually, I started in 99, actually doing a pro wrestling talk show that I put on the internet. People could download. And in 2003, it got a little expensive. Back then, you had to pay for bandwidth, right? So the bandwidth is basically when someone starts to stream, someone's got to pay for that bandwidth going back and forth. Much different today than it was back then when it came to stuff like that. So I stopped doing my pro wrestling show, and then I started binghamtonhockey.net, which is my website that covers basically the history of Binghamton hockey since 1973. And basically in 2015, after doing the show for 11 years, covering the American Hockey League, I was the only person doing that on the internet through a podcast. No, there was no team podcast. There was nothing like that. I stopped in 2015, had Bobby Robbins on, who played for the Boston Bruins and a lot of minor league hockey teams. He was my final interview. He talked about mental health and things of that nature. And I was like, this is a good one to go out on, right? And so I brought it back in 2023, March of 2023. So coming back up on 3 years almost, basically covering the Binghamton Black Bears. And though you introduced me as the voice of the Binghamton Black Bears, nope, definitely not. That is Brooks Hill at this point in time. He is the radio voice of the Binghamton Black Bears. I just host a podcast that basically interviews a lot of the players and a lot of people throughout really the Fed at this point, bringing people in. Like I have Chris Mott on from the Carolina Thunderbirds. I'm sorry. I did it again. The Twin City Thunderbirds. I'll have him on the show. He's a good friend from when he was with Binghamton. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I just love podcasting. I love seeing people like you guys doing this and the best part is the technology has grown so much that we can do this. That we can sit down. Your guys are in Port Huron or in the suburbs of Port Huron or somewhere around there. I'm in Binghamton, New York, and we can literally talk about minor league hockey. It's the best thing. That was my vision in 2004 when I started it and was covering the American Hockey League. And I'm so happy now that there are people that can do that today because of something that I started. My wife named the show Power Play Post Show, and BinghamtonHockey.net was born a year before that. And it's just been a great run. And the best part is the Black Bears have won the championship the last couple of years. And I've been able to I was on the ice in 2011 when the Binghamton Senators won the Calder Cup. And I've been on the ice for these two championships as well in the post. And I'm telling you right now, guys, if you ever get a chance to be able to live that experience, you guys love Port Huron hockey, and you love hockey just in general. If you ever get a chance to be on the ice for a celebration, it is the greatest thing. I got my championship hat on right now. And it is amazing. And that's probably too long of an introduction for your fans.
No, you're good, buddy.
That's perfect. Good. At this point, I look at it as our fans. I look at it as Justin and I, and our third guy. He has a family emergency right now.
Sure,
we listen to you, and it's like, you know what? It would be pretty cool. Like I started this channel off. I have the clip on YouTube.
Yeah,
I started this channel off talking about my career in demolition derby. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Sport I grew up loving since I was 5. I started doing YouTube, getting my career on the cars I built. And Justin and I got together and said, let's talk about hockey. Then I renamed the channel to Crashing and Cross-Checking. And it's
I saw that. And
it's like, you know what? It's sticking. But since we're talking more about the Fed, that's the Fed.
Right.
We love Port Huron. Port Huron's a hometown team for us.
Yeah.
But we cover every team.
That's awesome.
We like to talk about the moccasins. We like to talk about you guys.
Yeah.
We really like talking about you guys.
Well, I can understand why. And I would love to be able to talk about the moccasins, but unfortunately, Binghamton and Monroe don't play each other this year. And I don't get a chance because I work a 40-hour-a-week job, probably like you guys do as well.
Yep.
And I spend about 30 hours working on either the website or the actual podcast. So it's hard for me to just sit down and watch a Moccasins game unless it's on a Sunday and I'm not watching football or something to that effect. You know, I can maybe throw it on if they're on a Sunday or on a Wednesday or a Thursday, something like that. I'd love to be able to talk about the Moccasins. I wish Binghamton played every team in this league. It's not possible. I get it, but I wish they did.
Yeah. The reason why we talk about moccasins, we got Tucker Scantlebury down that traded from Huron, Frank Schumacher, export him.
Jersey's on right now. I got his jersey on right now. Yeah.
Nice. So it's good. I like to cover everybody. Where credit is due, that's where we like to give it. Okay, you guys won the cup. Okay, we talk about you guys winning the cup. Moccasins going on 18-game winning streak.
Yeah.
And it's like we cover everybody, but it's like, you know, it's nice to have 1 and 2 on Port Huron versus Binghamton, or vice versa, how you want to look at it, to pick each other's brains and say, you know what, that guy has a valid point. That guy has a valid point. And at the end of the day, we're hockey guys. We like hockey. We like talking about hockey. No matter what jersey you wear, at the end of the day, I still want you call my friend. I still want to buy you a beer at the end of the day. No matter what color jersey you have on.
Well, what's interesting about that is Binghamton's had a long history in the American Hockey League, right? Our two biggest rivals of all time were the Rochester Americans, who, like, there were times when the booster clubs had to have a police escort when they went to the opposing team's arena to get escorted to their seats. That's how strong the rivalry was. That's why, don't take this the wrong way, we laugh at sometimes some of the cities when they get so into the rivalry that it feels like it's getting personal. Binghamton fans have already gone through this with Rochester, with Hershey, and with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. There was a time in Binghamton during the Senators' years where fans went outside and rocked the bus of the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins booster club. And they just were shaking it back and forth. My wife and I were leaving the arena. We turned back and I looked and I could see people with their hands on the bus and they were rocking it back and forth. So we kind of laughed because we've matured from that kind of stuff here in Binghamton. Why the rivalry in Danbury always seems to be one-sided in Danbury, Connecticut, is because in Binghamton, we've already gone through a lot of that stuff at our home rinks. And some of the younger cities, now Port Huron's had hockey for a long time. Danbury's had hockey for a long time, but sometimes they haven't gone through the same rivalries as we have over the years where we've learned from it. We've learned what we can do, what we can't do, right? Pouring beer over the glass, you can't do that. You know, you
I've seen that. I've seen that game in Danbury.
Yeah, you just can't do that because the players are eventually going to turn around and defend themselves. I'm not defending throwing a water bottle into the crowd or anything like that, but they are going to defend themselves. And so sometimes the rivalries can get really strong. What's best for the rivalry is to stay on the ice between the two teams. And like Richard was saying, fans should just be able to get along, have a beer afterwards. Yeah, you can cuss each other out, like F you, F this, or whatever, right? You know, you can do that, but then at the end of the day, you got to be able to shake the guy's hand, fist pump, whatever it is, and be able to go home and not have some of the vitriol that happens sometimes. Because we're all weekend warriors in some cases, right? Or keyboard warriors, right? And you know, which is kind of funny, but we got to keep it civil and have a good. I love the rivalry between us and Port Huron for this simple fact. Port Huron turns on the physicality and forces Binghamton to play differently. That's a good thing for Binghamton because it can get boring playing against Watertown and Danbury 33 times this season. We played those two teams.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I fell asleep during one of your guys' games because it was just like it's the same thing over and over. You know what I mean? It's Watertown and bingo, Watertown and bingo. It's like, come on, we got to get something new here. So
you're right. 17 games against Watertown, 16 games against Danbury this year. I wanted 4, at least 6 against Blue Ridge. And look what happened last year between Binghamton and Blue Ridge down there. Give us 6 games, 3 down there, 3 up here. That would be great. I want Motor City back next year, so we can play against Motor City and then play against you guys as well in Michigan, because it's those are great rivalries.
Looking at that, I think it should be. I don't know who schedules this stuff. They have a higher pay grade than I do. Well, it should be if you got 8 teams in your leagues, because Minnesota's coming in, Motor City's coming in.
Yeah,
you should play everybody in your conference. 56 games? Divide that by how many teams you play in your league, and throw in a Moccasins game, a Rock Lobster game, so everyone's getting that taste of physicality or brutality. So no one's like, okay, well, this person is going to be there. I'm just going to pass the puck over there, and boom, we win the game 8-0. It gets boring for the game.
I agree with Richard, but I also agree with the way it's aligned this year. Because let's say, okay, Port Huron and Bingo, obviously the top 2 teams in the Empire, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so they're facing each other. Obviously, we didn't face Bingo as much as we did last year, which is granted good for Port Huron.
I think, but isn't it 8-8 like it was last year? Isn't it?
I thought it was 3-3
last year.
Last year was I think 8-8. Yes,
and this year is 8-8 because no, it's not. We're playing like 6 times. You guys come here 4 times, and we're there twice.
Yep.
For 2 games, right? Because this is the only trip out to Michigan for.
Well, you guys played us at the beginning of the season too.
In Binghamton, in Port Huron.
Yes, we beat Port Huron.
That's right. That's right. You guys took what? Yes. Yep. So it's still the same. But again, to you guys' points here, we need to be playing more teams. We don't play Topeka or Blue Ridge this year, and we should be.
And Port Huron does. I mean,
which is crazy. Who else? Do you guys play every team in the Empire this year?
We play Indiana like 30 times.
Topeka, Indiana, Watertown, Danbury.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think we
played everybody in the Empire. Yeah, we played everybody in the Empire.
And here's something I'll throw out to you guys. Like, Blue Ridge refused to play us. Like, they had some sort of poll within the league that allowed them to say, no, we don't want to play Binghamton this year. And I think that's just, a team shouldn't be able to dictate that. Listen, I didn't like what happened in Blue Ridge last year between Binghamton and because there were fans going into the locker room of the Black Bears. And that should never be allowed. The security, they had 1 security guard in the whole building last year during that 3-game series that Binghamton played down there. But I think they should be playing against each other this year because they're in our division. Well, and we need to know how we face them, because if they finish 4th and we finish 1st, guess who Binghamton's got to play? And then Blue Ridge can't bow out of those ones, right?
Yeah. We talked about that. We want to see Blue Ridge in 4th and play Bingo just because.
Me too.
And it's the fact it's a top team, Bingo, but it's a big team, Blue Ridge. You know, they're huge. They're monsters. There's no small guys there. So what is Blue Ridge going to do to Bingo? They're going to play physical, just like any other team that comes in. They play Bingo physical.
Yeah.
Their physicality. Every team knows to play them physically, because
some people can't, though. That's the funny part.
Yeah.
Some teams don't have
that. They try,
but all it does is creates penalties, and then Bingo being number 1 on the power play is just going to kill you. You give Bingo enough power play opportunities, they're going to burn you. They're going to find these guys may not be as big as other teams. They may not be as physical, but they'll outsmart a team and they'll outskill a team any day of the week. And sometimes when a team like Port Huron or Blue Ridge uses physicality to a certain degree, by the time the 3rd period comes around, they have nothing left in the tank. And that can certainly hurt. Now, I will say that there's been no more physical team that we've played against this year than Port Huron. From top to bottom, beginning to end, Matt Graham's team comes out there and they're hitting somebody. Okay? But there are times when they leave holes open and gaps open that Bingo has been able to pop through and score their goals. PD the other week, 2 weekends ago, we lost one game to PD. I think it was a 4-0 shutout, right? What PD did so well was they were physical, man on man, but they played defense like we've never seen before against Bingo this year. And what they did was they always had in front of their goaltender, they had their two defensemen, but they always had a forward there too. They were doing a triangle defense even when 5 guys on there, and they stuck to that. Bingo couldn't find a lane in there. Physicality, yeah, not as much as Port Huron, not as much as probably Blue Ridge could probably give you. Maybe not even as much as Watertown, because a coachman up there loves for his players to hit people, right? Mm-hmm. So that'll be interesting to see what happens this upcoming Friday when Bingo and Port Huron play, and Port Huron turns on that physicality. We know it's coming, right? And can they last the whole 60 minutes, number one? And number two, can they play good defensively? And we know Matt Graham loves defensive play. That's a moniker of his for the past 5 or 6 years. He thinks defense first, and then he brings in skilled players to hopefully get the goals in the back of the net.
And you can see that in his signings over the summer too. I mean, he starts right at the blue line. At the blue line. Me personally, I'd start off my goalie, but having Reed Cooper in net, I think that's a big threat to most teams in the league right now, right? Everybody can agree that Reed Cooper is going to be the big threat to Bingo this year.
He's a top 3 goalie in this league. Him, Carter McPhail, and then either Dominic Tomei for Binghamton or Connor McAnanima when he's here, right? Those are the 3 big goalies in this league that basically are top 4, I would say, that are dominating pretty much the games that they play in.
Your guys' goalie, he's a rookie, correct?
Dominic Tomei, yes. Yeah.
He's a rookie. He plays like a veteran.
Well, he also has major junior experience. So think about this. He was playing junior A hockey up in Quebec. And then he goes and joins the QMHL, which is the 3rd, major junior league up there. Now, his numbers weren't great when he was in the Q, but he had that experience. And you think about that for a second. There are guys that he played against in the Q. Yeah, he gave up some goals, but they're playing in the NHL right now. Yeah. So you think about that. You get the vision of a guy who's playing against guys who eventually make it to the NHL. That means he's got some skill. He's got some ability. So he's a rookie, yes, 17 wins now, 18 wins, whatever it is after last night's game. And he definitely has the ability. But Reed Cooper is a gamer.
Oh, yeah.
He's a guy who's seen enough games in this league. He understands. It's like a Trevor Babin kind of situation, right? Mm-hmm. Where Trevor, I'm not sure if he's got it all right here. I think he's a little crazy, right?
We for Port Huron, I could say Trevor Babin is the most down-to-earth guy.
Oh,
but I've met him off the ice, down to earth, but he is he should be playing defense, not goalie.
But when he's on the ice, he goes a little cuckoo. And he hurts his team sometimes a little bit because I think he's an excellent athlete. I think he's got all the skills. But when he can't keep his head in the game sometimes, he kind of hurts the teams that he's playing for every once in a while. People love him. But
you see the Trevor Babin with the incident with Trevor Babin last night, like I was cool at all, but dude.
But the Black Knight's been known to do that for a long time. I mean, ever since he was with Motor City. I mean,
Reed Cooper doesn't do that. Reed Cooper is everything that Trevor Babin is as a fundamentals as a goalie, but he doesn't lose his crap.
No.
He doesn't lose his shit. You know what I mean? That's the thing. And that's why Connor McAnanima was so good for Binghamton for the last 2 years. The guy's cool as a cucumber. He was a bouncer, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this, but he was a bouncer during the seasons the last couple of years.
Wow.
So, yes. So you want to go mess with a guy who is kicking people out of bars and, basically dragging a guy out of a bar? He's got to keep he has to keep his cool all the time. That's why I loved it when Blue Ridge did what they did and they were going after the captain, Tyson Kirkby, in the corner, during the whole brawl and everything. Connor just turns and looks and said, "Oh man, do I really have to do this?" And he goes over there and he grabs the guy because you gotta stick up for your captain, even if you're the goalie sometimes, right? Goes over there and does that. And I think Blue Ridge players were like, "What is going on here? How does this guy? He's a bouncer. That's what he did. The guys don't make enough money in the Fed, so they got to work, right? That was his job.
That's cool. I mean, look at it. If Connor comes back to the Fed,
Yeah.
I'm not going to look at that guy no differently. Like, that dude was a bouncer.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
And doing this podcast with everybody, with the league and players, you see a story about somebody, like you're going to look at him like, dude, that's awesome. You did that for a living. You did that, dude.
Yeah.
I applaud you.
Yeah.
As a bouncer, and God only knows what city or town.
Well, in Binghamton here, he did it in the city of Binghamton. There was a one place that he did it at for 2 years, and that's how he made extra money. But people don't know that. They don't realize that. But no, Calm Cool Collective, if he comes back, great. If he stays in Peoria, I mean, what he's done in Peoria has been outstanding. They have an excellent team in Peoria, and Connor's just added to that. So is Zach Sirota. We don't know if Zach will be back for the Port Huron series because they did put him on IR. Tyson Kirkby might be back this weekend from Roanoke, so he might be there for the Port Huron series. I think it would be good for both Port Huron and Binghamton to have Tyson back because it adds to the fuel of the excitement and the little bit of grittiness that happens between our two teams, and having Tyson there to be a part of that is honestly good for everybody, right? If we're talking about a Saturday morning that something happened between Grammer and Kirkby, it's good talk for all of us, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of hope for that.
I mean, you brought that up. Connor is in Peoria, Riverman.
Yeah.
Thinking back to myself, who else plays for the Rivermen? Dan Chartrand.
Yeah.
Former Prowler. And it's like, man, that you can connect the dots. It's like, wow, that's like, oh, jeepers.
Yeah, if you think about single A hockey, some people are now calling the SP the single A high and we're the single A low, right? I think it's gotten closer and closer and closer every year. Since Binghamton joined the league in 2021, the two leagues have gotten closer and closer and closer. You're having more call-ups now come from the Fed than we ever had before, right? So so guys are being able to go from the Fed, single A low, if you want to call it that, up to the double A. And we didn't have that 5 years ago. You could talk to Matt Graham about that. He'll tell you that the ECHL didn't look at the Fed. Now they do. Think about it like this. Last year, when Matt Graham brought in the 3 Trine guys, right? The guys from Trine University, Bobby Price, Drew Welsh. Yep. All 3 of those guys were on one of the top 10 D3 schools in the country.
Yep.
Right? The impact that they made on the Prowlers and what they were able to do in the first round of the playoffs second round of the playoffs against Binghamton and got that shutout win. We hadn't seen a team do that to Binghamton. There was physicality, but then you had your Trine guys. That Trine line was so good against Binghamton. It was something that they hadn't seen. So the closeness of the SPHL and the FPHL is getting so much closer and closer and closer. Now, some guys are still going to the SP hoping that the ECHL will take notice, but I think within the next 2 or 3 more years, it'll be so close that the ECHLs are going to start hooking up more often with Fed teams, right? What's the closest ECHL team to Port Huron? Is it Kalamazoo?
Yeah.
Do they have?
Yeah, it would be Kalamazoo or Fort Wayne.
Okay. Think about it
so
this
those
way.
2, yeah.
Think about it this way. There's going to be a time if Port Huron continues to get stronger and stronger and the fan base gets better and the ownership and Matt Graham keeps building and Alex Johnson, they keep building, and Chris Pollan continues to be the social media darling that he is with his post-game stuff, right? Seriously, no, you guys are laughing. I love Chris Pollan. I'll say it out loud.
Like I said, Chris Pollan is very open. I like it.
Yes. And it's yes, and as long as he doesn't overstep in some cases and hurts the team's image, then all he's doing is helping build the team's image, right? And it's fun. But in 2 or 3 more years, you'll likely see more relationships be built up between those ECHL teams I just mentioned and Port Huron, or with Motor City, right? Because you guys will have the same ownership group, and it'll be an easy networking type of thing to do that. Binghamton already has a relationship with Adirondack and with Reading, right? So if we want to send guys up there, Brant Sherwood already has a relationship with Roanoke in the SPHL. So if he needs to get a guy a P1 visa, he can do that. Those relationships are getting better and better and better between the Fed and the SP, the Fed and the ECHL. And that's huge. That's why when I look at the talent now in single A hockey, I don't see much of a difference between the way the Fed talent and the SP talent. What I see is a difference in play. It's more physical in the SP. In the Fed, yes, there's physical teams like Blue Ridge and Port Huron. Athens is a physical team as well, right? But when it comes down to it, there is still a lot of guys zooming by another guy to go for the puck instead of hitting a guy. In the SPHL, they don't pass by a hit. They hit all the time. That's why you also have 2-1 games, 3-0 games, 3-2 games more often in the SP than in the Fed. We're still trying to score a lot of goals instead of playing good defense sometimes in the Fed, unfortunately.
Well, it's like we just saw that Reed Cooper got a call up to Kalamazoo, and it's like, I hope you're back, buddy. But I heard through the grapevine he will be back. So
good.
I think it's just like, okay, you're bettering yourself. Okay, my team's on a bye week. I get that phone call. Hey, you want to come up for an e-bug situation or blah, blah, blah? Okay, cool. You make that move. Yeah, you may not play, or if you do play, now you're not dead leg. You got that. I had practice. I'm ready to go. Okay.
You work.
Here on. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I think the call up for him to go to Kalamazoo is huge because again, it is something that I think that all teams in the Fed can put on their resume, right? We had 5 guys go up 15 different times to ECHL call-ups for the Prowlers or for the Rock Lobsters or whatever. And that's huge for this league to be able to start saying that. You know, head coaches, just picking up the phone and calling a Fed head coach, do not ever miss that phone call. That networking is more important than anything that you do. If the head coach of the Kalamazoo Wings calls up Matt Graham, he drops everything. I don't care what it is. And you take that phone call. You talk to him. If he wants to talk for 30 minutes, you talk for 30 minutes. If he wants 2 of your players for a weekend, you figure it out. Right? And you get those guys up there because all it's doing is building a relationship that's huge for the Fed. Because I would like it if people in the hockey world, and I've been in the hockey world, I know people in the NHL, I know people in the AHL very well still today. I know people in D1 hockey. When they talk about, oh, Bob's covering the Fed, we know what that means, right? It's the first 10 years of the Fed, what it was, right? Not what it is today. What you and I, the 3 of us, see on a daily basis is something different than what it was 5 years ago. And it's changed a lot. And that's huge. There's going to be a time when people are going to be like, oh, yeah, he played down in the Fed. Well, what's he doing now? Oh, he's playing in the AHL right now. Right? We're going to have a guy do that. Scott Darlin's not going to be the only guy that plays single A hockey and then make it to the NHL. We've already had coaches and people who work for teams in the Fed win the Stanley Cup. Think about that for a second, and it's only getting better.
And like our third guy, he actually was at the 2016 championship game when the Prowlers won.
Nice.
And it's like it's different looking back then to now. Like, we still have the physicality and blah and all that stuff, but like we didn't really like
the skill
we
wasn't
the
same.
But it's like we're evolving, we're moving forward. We're not the beer league no more.
No, well, what I think is different is the skill level. Like when you guys won the cup in 2016, you guys were the best team in the league all year long. When the Watertown Wolves won the cups that they won in the mid 2000 teens as well, they were the best team in the league. Nobody could touch them. They had all the good players that probably could have played in the SPHL. Maybe a couple of them could have had a sniff in the ECHL, but it was all collected on one team. Think about this year. Think about it for a second. Monroe, Binghamton, and Athens. Then you have Port Huron, and Columbus. These are your elite teams. All of those teams there, the 5 teams I just mentioned, all have enough skill on those teams, squads, that players can go from them to the SPHL or the ECHL on a regular basis to fill in, to help out, or to get just promoted. Chartrand, I mean, he's playing in the SPHL right now, playing a more physical game, right? Connor McAnanama made the trip up, but we've also seen guys go to the ECHL. And that didn't happen in 2016 when the Prowlers won the Cup. That's how much this league has changed, but not enough people are talking about it like we are. So hopefully more people hear this, see this, recognize this, because I think it is happening slowly. Guys like Brant Sherwood, people might hate Brant Sherwood because of everything that, especially in Danbury, they hate him. Blue Ridge, they hate him. He has made this league so much better with the players he's brought into this league. And that's what Matt Graham started doing last year that I noticed, that it made me click in my head. All right, Matt Graham's starting to get it, right?
Yeah.
Athens, their first season, they got Garrett Milan, one of the best players in the SPHL, to come down and play here, and he played in the ECHL, right? CJ Stubbs played in the SPHL, won a championship with Roanoke. He's playing in Binghamton now. He's one of the top scorers here. He could go back to the SPHL and play. He could, right, and be one of the top setup men up there, but he decided to play here, and that's good for this league. It's good. It's honestly good for the rivalry that we have with you guys, to have guys that are skilled. CJ Stubbs had a fight last year. Oh my gosh, guys, he beat the living crap out of the guy. I don't even remember who it was, but the guy was probably 3 or 4 inches taller than CJ, built, strong, everything. CJ just had that extra something inside of him, right? And he just took him to town, right? Jamie Bussell is another guy. Played here in Binghamton first, left, came back, then got traded to you guys. I love the physicality that Jamie Bussell has brought to his game. Matt Graham brought that out of him. He didn't play that way in Binghamton here. Probably didn't have to, right? But man, what Jamie Bussell is doing in with you guys now, when I see 46 on the ice, I'm like, all right, I'm waiting for the hit. I'm waiting for the talk, because I have a feeling Jamie Bussell doesn't go out there and go, hey, I just saw your sister naked last night or something like that to get on someone. I think what he does is something even a little bit more sneaky than that, right? He doesn't do that kind of garbage on the ice. He probably does something a lot more devious that gets guys looking at him, and then he comes and hits them. And which is great. And he's willing to drop the gloves for his teammates, which is awesome as well. So I don't know about you guys. I'm excited for this upcoming weekend.
That's what I was going to get to there was, you mentioned that the Black Bears, they swept Indiana this weekend, right? Okay. Let's face the facts. We could tell the audience, right? Like you said, was that a bounce back?
No.
Not really. This is the weekend that's going to show the Black Bear fans, obviously in Port Huron, who wants it more this weekend. This is playoff hockey. I look at it as playoff hockey.
These will be playoff games that we'll see. So obviously Binghamton went on a 3-game losing streak. You guys obviously know that. You know, everybody's watching to see what Binghamton does. Even if you're not playing against them, you're kind of watching. So the fans all saw that they lost 3 games. But then everybody saw on the schedule, but it's Indiana. I mean, come on. Everett Thompson has done a great job with that team. They're a good defensive team. They don't have any offensive skill. They have Ethan Esposito, who he gets in the zone, he knows what to do. But he doesn't have anybody else on the team that can do that. And I think Everett said, listen, I don't want to get blown out, so I'm going to teach defense first. Defense first. And they do a good job of that. I mean, they only lost 5-0 to both games, right? 5-0, 5-0. That's not bad. The Black Bears should be lighting those guys up. And that's what the Black Bears players thought. When I talked to them after Saturday night's game, they're like, well, we thought we were going to get more than that. I was like, why? You guys,
I thought it was going to be 11-0, 11-1, something.
That's what everybody thinks. I liked that they only beat them 5-0 because they played defense. They played, they did enough against them to show, hey, listen, we're still the champs. We're the defending champs and whatnot. But to me, those were 2 games they were expected to win. Everybody knows that, right? But when it comes down to it, bounce back win, That's going into Port Huron on Friday night, even after 2 wins against Indiana, and shutting Port Huron down. If they can do that, beat them 6-3, 6-2, 5-2, whatever it is, going into Port Huron, when Port Huron knows that Binghamton has seen a little bit of trouble, that is a bounce back win. Now, what does Port Huron have to do? They have to come in with a game plan that says we got to figure out the way to get enough offensive zone time in front of Dominic Tomei, because they're going to play Dominic Tomei. Let's be honest. They're going to play Tomei. Connor's still up there. Wyatt hasn't had enough games. CJ Hopward, the third goalie, he's only played in one game and then backed up one game. So he's not going to play.
Same for us. I mean,
yeah,
Black Bears, Reed Cooper's going to be in net all weekend.
Right.
I mean,
Huber
is a good goalie. Don't get me wrong. The guy has earned his wins.
Sure.
But if I'm Chris Paul and I'm going Huber, sorry, but we got to take this. We got to take this.
Yeah, we know it's going to be Cooper versus Tomei. I agree with you, Justin, 100%. But they have to figure out, the Prowlers need to figure out, how do we play good defense like we normally do, but also get into the offensive zone and attack Tomei. You got to put on shots on him. Putting on only 16 shots like Indiana did, 15 shots, not going to work. 30 shots. You need to have 30, 35 shots on. And if they can't do that, then it's going to be tough going for Port Huron. With Binghamton, they have to be ready for the hits, the physicality.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Okay, with Tomei. Every goalie, we touched on it before, every goalie has their tendencies. Every goalie has their own quirk. Okay, Tomei. I noticed with Tomei, you got to get Tomei out of the net.
And it's hard to do.
It's hard to do. But you get him out and misdirections. I have noticed that a lot. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Misdirections work. Okay. Coming in at him, misdirection. He's not going to be able to go that way quick.
I don't think Tomei is quick enough to do, and I'm not downing the guy because he's a damn good goalie. He's a damn good goalie. Damn good rookie goalie. I've never seen a rookie goalie that good in my life. Like you could go back to our podcast. I talk about the Black Bears. Like he is a majority of the reason why the Black Bears are where they're at today is because of him. And the defense.
Season,
I mean, Stone and whoever.
Yeah.
But Richard, you're right. If you get him to move one side, it doesn't seem like he can push off quick enough to get there.
But here's the thing. He hasn't had too much this year.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Remember, so in 10 of the games that he's played this year, okay, he's given up either one goal 7 times or he's shut the team out.
Yeah.
So in 10 of his games, it's 1 goal or less.
And I believe he took the loss to Port Huron, correct?
I think
at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
So, and that was a grit battle right in front of the net. I mean, Port Huron, I agree. Port Huron has to do something. The game plan has to be, you have to crash the net. You're going to have to crash the net on this guy, because if not, he's going to see everything. He's going to see everything that's coming at him.
Yeah.
And I know we don't have Simmons no more. He's up to the ECHL, but you got to get someone in front of Tomei.
Yeah.
And just
you do.
Like, okay, you're gonna go that way. I'm gonna block you. And okay, puck's there, boom, and
so who's that guy? Who's that guy? Well, let me ask you guys, who's that guy on Port Huron that will plant himself, right? You have 3 lines you're going to roll out there, right? Each line usually has a guy that you're going to put in front of the goalie, just because that's his job. Who's that guy?
Me personally, I think this coming weekend, if I'm Chris Paul, I'm telling Ben Brockway, I'm telling Lucas Lockney, who's a tall forward.
Sure.
And I'm telling the new Ray Alexander, hey, you're 6'3". Okay, that's without skates. Get in front of that goalie, and let's get Ben Brockway on the other side of him. He's going to move the same way those guys move. Sure. He's going to move. I mean, if he sees Lucas move to the left, he's going to move to the left, and they're going to shoot to the right. Yeah. I mean, that's how you're going to win. That's how Port Huron's going to win that game.
Right. Right.
There's no other way around it. I mean, yeah, you got your physicality, great. But like you said, you can't be physical all 60 minutes.
No.
That's tiring. I played hockey. It's tiring. I mean, your first 20 minutes of being physical is that's tiring enough. Try doing it for 40.
And
I was going to say, Richard, one of the things that is interesting about Port Huron, in the games I don't see them as effective, is when they don't start the game off physical. So then how do you balance if you go the first 40 minutes and you're not physical, then coming into the third period and being overly physical? How do you balance whether or not Binghamton doesn't like outscore you in the first 40 minutes 6-0 or 6-1?
I was going to say that, I've noticed that through the season that Port Huron has done that. They're down, let's say 5-3 or something. The first 40 minutes, they're just playing hockey. That third period, they're like, okay, we're down, such and such goals. Let's go out there and just be physical. Well, you should have just came off the rip being physical, because when Port Huron's physical off the rip, then they're taking the game away from you. They're going to take the game away from you in the heartbeat.
But how do you balance that? Because if you start off physical, you drain yourself for the third period. You almost have to have spurts of it. You almost have to have one line, maybe two lines, go out there and be physical as heck, right? And then,
I think that's the Jamie Bussell line for sure. This weekend coming up.
And then you have one line that goes out there and says, we got to move the puck and score.
Yeah. And that would be the Vinny DeCumbus line with R2 Hicula, Vinny DeCumbus. And people can disagree, but I know, Bob, you watch Port Huron when they play.
Yeah.
The Vinny DeCumbus line is probably the line that will wear any of your lines out as quick as possible, because they are quick, they're fast, they don't have to look, they know exactly where each other are at. Yep. And then you got Bobby Price. Price. The guy is just ripping goals left and right. So I mean, you have a lot to look for. Yeah, you have a lot to look for this weekend's game. I mean, it's gonna be a battle. I think Friday night.
Yeah. Let's play hypotheticals here. Okay.
Sure.
Everyone knows Port Huron's going to want to play physical, and they want to attack. What happens if Paulie and Matt Graham's like, you know what? We're going to flip the script. We're going to play hockey, traditional hockey. What the Bears do. What do you do at that point? Bears know going in, they're going to play physical, but they're playing the Bears game. Pass the hockey, pass the puck, play hockey. Then all of a sudden, the light switch turns on. Now they're hammering.
This is the answer you're not going to like. They can't they can't beat Binghamton that way. If you play straight up hockey with Binghamton, they one of the things that they boast about is having a D1 hockey player, Kyle Steffen, playing on the third line. Gavin Yates, a 3-time MVP in this league in the playoffs, playing on the third line. They roll if Tyson Kirkby comes back and they push the centers down one again, right? And Kyle Steffen goes back down to the third line, and Tyson centers the first line with Ivan Bondarrico and CJ Stubbs. You can't play hockey that way against Binghamton. Unfortunately, Port Huron, and Matt Graham knows this. Alex Johnson, he knows this. Chris Pollan, they know this. If they're going to play straight up hockey against Binghamton, Binghamton's third line will beat your guys' third D pair any day of the week. Yeah. I'm not dissing you guys. I'm just saying the skill level is there. But we can't out physical the Prowlers. Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's why I agree. If you play regular or just standard hockey, I mean, there's not a team in this league. Maybe Monroe, sure. I'll give it to them. Maybe they could probably do it.
We split with Athens when we played them. Right. Yeah, we split
Port
with Athens.
Huron has to keep their game plan. And that's what we've been doing all year to stay in second place. Be physical, play prowler hockey.
Yeah.
You can't flip that script.
That's why I think, Richard, if they did that to surprise
I'm just throwing out hypotheticals because it's okay. No. One team knows your MO. Okay, what happens if you just flip the script?
Binghamton won't come in there and try to play physical against you guys. They'll let you play physical and then they'll react and adjust to it. Yeah. That's what they've done all the time against the Prowlers. Think about it this way. Last year in the playoffs, you guys came out, played physical, beat us 4-0, right? Came back to Binghamton, and, Binghamton in front of their home crowd just basically marched up and down the ice, scored goals, and Port Huron wasn't in it. And then it was, they won games 2 and 3 and moved on to the finals, right?
And to go to that game, I think part of that is Port Huron already had a tired goalie, right?
Sure, 100%.
So they had to put that backup in, and I said it in this very house. I said we should have kept that starting goalie in as much as hard as it is, but you can't put a backup goalie in, especially when you're going into Bingo's house and trying to win.
Think about it this way, Justin. Everybody loved Nolan Egbert when he was here as the backup to Connor McAnanima. He didn't play one game in the playoffs. Why?
And now he's where? In Monroe?
Well, he's in Monroe. But what my point is, though, is to your point, 100%. Aggie never got any playoff time. He never set foot on the ice during the play in the playoffs, right? You go with your goaltender that got you there. You go with the best goaltender, and that's just the way it is, unless there's an injury.
Yeah. And I think that this weekend, like we said, it's going to be Tomei and Cooper, and it needs 100%. To stick with that. And both coaches need to stick with that. You can't have Bingo's coach going, well, Tomei, you're great. You got the win last night. Hey, let's give this guy a try. What's Port Huron going to do? They're going to eat it up. They're going to eat it up.
Yeah, because what they'll do is if it's Freelander who has only played 3 games this season, right? If they put Freelander in there on Saturday night, I mean, I would just plant Brockway. I mean, I wouldn't take Brockway off the ice. I would literally let him play on all 3 lines the whole game and just plant his ass right there in front of Freelander because he'll get into his head. And that's what
and he does. So, that's the thing with him is he does. You look at I look at stats, right? I look at stats in Port Huron. Okay, everybody's got a goal. Everybody's got something. I mean, look at Brian Parsons. He's coming from shooting from the center, scoring. I mean, 30 years it took him to do that, but sure. You put Ben Brockway in anybody's ear, and I think he's a threat to any team. He will get in your head, and once he gets in your head, I think Port Huron could take advantage of that. But Bingo doesn't let that happen.
No, they don't.
Bingo does not let that happen, and it's hard to get in their head. It is, but I think Ben Brockway can throw a couple chirps here and there. James Bussell, he does. We had him on not too long ago. He doesn't really chirp, but he definitely will get in your head enough to, hey, let's drop the gloves, let's go.
And that's why I said he won't chirp in the way that like I hear some players will do sometimes, like, hey, saw your mom last night, that type of thing. He doesn't do that kind of crap, but he knows what to say quietly, lining up next to his opponent, say something over there. We don't know what he's saying. It could be simple, something very small and simple. Say, hey, I don't think you guys are going to beat us. Some stupid like that. And let's get into the head. Yeah.
Let's not take out, everybody forgets Luke James. Luke James is a chirper.
Yeah.
And he will get in your head, get you pissed off.
Yeah.
And then he'll skate away and smile while you're taking the penalty.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So going into this weekend, Paulie said it the best. Stupid penalties we can't lose on stupid penalties. So don't take that stupid penalty.
No.
I think that's another big thing. Because like you said yourself, Bingo, they love the power play.
They get in your head. They get in your head very easy.
Here's the thing about stupid penalties, right? On either side, right? Whether Binghamton takes them or Port Huron takes them.
And both teams have this year. I've seen it.
Yeah, at times Binghamton definitely has, it's the stuff that they shouldn't take. If you take a penalty, you better hope that you can draw the matching minor from the other guy. Because then at least, all right, you're taking off one of our best. We'll take off one of your best. Yeah. It's 4-on-4 and it's even. So, and that's one of the things that you see sometimes with Port Huron that I love is like, okay, we just took a penalty. All right, so say Brockway takes a slashing penalty. He turns right around and starts chirping somebody because he's hoping he can get them to slash him or cross-check him or whatever, because then he's taking one of those guys off. It's 4-on-4, and his damage isn't as bad. Binghamton doesn't always, I mean, they do that sometimes, right? They try to get the matching minor, but they don't always do it. They also have the number 1 PK in this league, and they've only given up 12 power play goals this whole season. It's a crazy number. It's a 90% stat that doesn't usually happen in hockey, but they're doing it. So I think the key to this weekend, 100%, I agree with Chris Paulin. They can't take stupid penalties. They just can't put Binghamton on that advantage. But again, It's all about physicality with Port Huron. So I cannot wait to see how they interact and what they do, who they go after, because you can draw Binghamton into the muck sometimes. And that's some of the best things you can do to try to beat Binghamton.
And that's the thing is, go on, Justin.
My thing is going back to Bingo's power play. So there's a lot of talk around the league. I mean, obviously, keyboard warriors. Okay, Bingo's a good team, but they can't win unless they're on the power play. Okay, I see it a lot. They're scoring a lot on the power play. Yes, they are. But I think Port Huron, going back to Port Huron never used to be a Friday winning team, right? They used to struggle on Fridays. This year you don't have that. This year they don't have that. I think they're going to come out, and being a Prowler fan, I'm going to say this. Right. I think Bingo takes game 1. Chris Paulin, Alex Johnson, they go in and they say, hey, let's regroup. And Saturday you see a whole new Prowler team.
Sure.
And it's been like that all season.
Right.
But for the Prowlers themselves, they need these points right here. They need to plant the flag like you did in Danbury on home ice. And
good old Ben.
Make a statement.
That's a way to really get people talking about the start of the season. At the end of the playoffs, go and plant the flag, piss off one of the toughest fan bases in all of hockey. Let's be honest. Let's give credit where credit's due. The Danbury Hat-Tricks fans, Section 102, they are tough customers.
They're a menace.
And when I watched that video of what Ben did, I was like, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, watching the idiots go to the middle of the Star and do their little things that they've done in Dallas, right? I'm like going, holy cow, that was the best marketing. He should have gotten a bonus just for doing that from both Danbury and Port Huron. Think about the beginning of this season, all the talk, all the craziness that people did, right? Talking about getting ready for Port Huron and Danbury.
It wasn't even Bingo being the champs. Yeah. Plant the flag.
There you go. Exactly. Bingo was kind of like left like, all right, let's talk about Danbury and Port Huron. What's going to happen? Yep. Who's going to do what? That type of stuff, which is great. You guys brought up the goals. I wanted to mention Binghamton has 195. I see your
screen click on. Yeah, I see your screen kick.
Oh, you guys can see this when I do this?
I see. No, I can see it light up.
Oh,
yeah, we saw
as soon as I said something, I seen you click, and I'm like, oh, he's looking it up now.
You know what? I'm gonna play devil's advocate here.
Sure.
I don't want to speak for you. You can have your own opinion, whatever. But I think what's going to happen. I think Brett Sherwood, knowing that you guys are sitting at 100, almost 100 points, I think he starts your backups. We say, Tomei, sit.
No.
No.
Hear me out.
Richard, I'm with you. I'm same fan base, but it would be stupid to do that. It would be stupid to do that.
But you never know.
You want a good hockey game. You want fans to come out to this is the game of the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, I going back. I mean, going back is like I do see Tomei starting. I do see the physicality happening.
Yeah.
I do see some blood getting.
But you're
drawn.
saying if you're Sherwood, you would say, hey, look, we're already locked in for the year. Why don't we give this guy a chance and get scored on 12 times, right?
It's not going to happen.
No,
it's not going to happen. So Binghamton has scored 195 goals this season so far. I'm mentioning this because of the what the fans are saying, that they can only win when they're on the power play, right? They've scored 62 power play goals, right? Do the math. It's 133 goals that they've scored even. That is more than most of the league still.
Yeah.
So 5-on-5 or shorthanded, they're still outscoring a good portion of the league. So that would put them ahead of Twin City, PD, Baton Rouge, obviously, Biloxi, right?
You might as well say the whole league.
It still puts them ahead of every single team in the Empire Division if you take away all their power play goals. So for me, like, again, a great point. Yeah, they do score a lot of power play goals. It doesn't make them what they are today. It just is part of the enhancement of who they are today. You go on the penalty kill. Now, here's one last thing we haven't talked about yet. What is the difference between Binghamton and every other team? They have an NHL player as an associate head coach. So
I was going to say that. Yeah, I was going to say that because that kind of brought attention to my eyes. And, me being me,
and he's got a famous last name that people in the Midwest would recognize, Quenneville, right? He's the nephew. He's the nephew. John Quenneville is the nephew, and he's got skill. He played 42 games in the NHL, played high level over in Europe, and played in the American Hockey League. He's teaching these guys how to do certain things that even Brant Sherwood, who hasn't played at that level, can do. So there is more to this team than just the power play. That's my point.
Let's say Tyson. Obviously, Tyson's called up right now, correct? I think 18 games, right? Supposedly 18 games from what I read. I think
18. What do you mean?
He's playing 18 games up in the higher league before he comes back.
That's not what I heard. I heard a few weeks. He was going up for a few weeks. This was the third weekend, and I'd heard that he was more than likely coming back this upcoming week before Port Huron.
Okay. Well, Port Huron will love that.
Yeah. I think it's good for both teams to have Tyson on the ice.
Let's say Tyson gets an extension, right?
Sure.
Okay. And I take this and I write it down and I'll take it to the grave. I think without Tyson Kirby, the Black Bears kind of struggle without him. They do.
No.
It's
wrong. No. He was injured after the first game of the season where he scored a hat trick. He was then injured for the next 16 games. We lost one game that whole time.
Okay.
The Black Bears are better with him than without him, but they can still win without him.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, they can still win without him. But I think, you have that big figure in the locker room, right? Going into Port Huron. Let's say he's sitting in the locker room. He's ready to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Port Huron thinks that he's not coming back, so they build off that.
Yeah.
And now he's back. He comes like 2 days before the bus rolls out of, bingo and heading to Port Huron. And Chris Paul's like, oh, no, wait a minute. What are we going to do? That's one guy you have to cover. He is the weapon of bingo.
Yeah, he plants himself in front of the goaltender. He'll plant himself in front of Reed Cooper, and he's looking for the greasy goals. Now, if you watch Tyson Kirkby, he doesn't skate into the zone and give you a big slap shot and score a bunch of goals. No, he gets in front of the net. He's one of our best net front presence guys, and he's going to look for anything, any rebound that is left open. He's going to grab it, and he'll get it between the pads. He'll get it between a pad and a post. It doesn't really matter. He doesn't look for the pretty goals. He just looks for goals.
I'm glad you brought that up because that kind of reminds me of Matt Graham.
Sure, 100%.
Matt Graham is a Tyson Kirby. He is hands down. No. Anybody in the league that says otherwise, you need to rewatch your film because those two guys play the same style of hockey. Look at Matt Graham this year. All his goals. I mean, you can review and review and review. Yeah. They're in front of the net. He puts himself there, and when he's in front of that goalie knows like I have to be on my A game or else it's done.
How many times did Alec Johnson take a shot from the point, hit a goaltender, and then Matt Graham taps it in?
Exactly. And it's been like that all season. Yeah. I mean, Ben Brockway did it too. They thought he scored a goal. You look back on the film, Matt Graham tipped it in. Yeah. You go to Indiana, overtime winner, Matt Graham, right at the net. If him and Tyson are in front of the net, it's going to be a Matt Graham and Tyson game all night long. That's what it's going to be.
Well, the two leaders of the team. Let's be honest.
Yep.
And it also rolls down to goaltending too. Look, okay, you got Reed Cooper there and Dominic May.
Yeah.
Two goaltenders. Okay, well, you're going to be right there in front of me. I'm just going to peek over here. Okay, yep. Okay, here comes the puck.
Yeah,
but the thing is, though,
I don't want to really say. Go on, Justin.
Port Huron's got R2 Hikula, right? Everybody forgets about the kid. He's small. He's fast. He's a sharpshooter. Now you got Bobby Price coming in. He's scoring left and right. He's scoring on some big names. I mean, let's face it. He is scoring on Indiana. Sorry, big name goaltenders. I mean, I think Bobby Price is going to be a threat to May this weekend.
Yeah,
he's going to be a big threat.
So what we can talk about this, right? If we have physicality on one side, we have high skill on another side. They kind of balance each other out. right?
Mhm.
Yep.
So then we take a look at two goaltenders, right? Reed Cooper and Dominic Tomei, both playing great, top 3 of every single goaltending category. Balance them
Goaltenders of
out,
the month,
right?
you know.
Yep. So what it's going to come down to, guys, is puck possession.
Yep.
I think when we talk about this at the end of the weekend, right? Me on my website, you guys talking about it on your show. What you guys are going to be talking about is puck possession. Who had the puck the most in the zone, in the offensive zone, and who didn't? And I think that's going to be a key here, right? And does the forecheck of the Prowlers outweigh the passing and I don't want to say the speed, because I think the speed is there on both teams, but the puck possession control that Binghamton does so well, right? Does the forecheck balance that out? We'll see. That's really going to come down to is we're going to see two teams that I think who controls the puck the most on the ice is going to
And
determine
I think when Port
how this
Huron
game
beat
goes.
Bingo, when they beat Bingo at the beginning of the season, they controlled the puck. They didn't take stupid penalties. They controlled the puck. Now you can
Agreed.
go back and say controlling the puck, but you got to also shoot that puck. Port Huron's notorious for passing the puck. I mean, you listen to our crowd; they count 1, 2, 3, 4. But this year has been different. They've been shooting the puck more.
Yeah.
They've been whether the goalie's off his guard or not. You're still. I tell everybody, when you shoot at a goalie, you're wearing him down. You're going to tire him out. Keep shooting at him. Eventually, he will fold. It doesn't matter if he's the best goalie in America. He will fold.
Wasn't there a college goalie just recently that had like 100 shots on goal against him, and they considered it one of the best goalie performances? I'll have to look it up. I only saw a little snippet.
I heard of it, but I didn't look into it. But I did hear about it.
Saw over 100 shots. 100 shots on goal. That's nuts.
There was a game, I think Monroe's game. They had like 70 shots on goal one night. Yeah. And the final score was only 5-2.
Yeah, that's nuts. 65 days. I mean, come on.
And the thing else it also boils down to face-offs. Who's going to win that face-off?
Yeah. Well, I go back to our new signing. He's got 450 face-off wins underneath his belt. He's the 4th best face-off drawer in his college history.
Wow.
4th best.
That helps.
See, so when he played with PD didn't give him that chance. Matt Graham looks at him and goes, "Wow, if we can win face-offs against the Black Bears,
there you go.
Go do it."
So if you think about it, we go back to what we talked about in the beginning of this podcast, right? We talk about what has Matt Graham done in the past few years that's different than the 2016 championship run? He's finding higher skilled guys than ever before. And that's huge. It's good for Port Huron. It's good for the Fed. It's good for the league. It's good for single A hockey. The more and more we get, there were guys that used to play D3 hockey, guys, that never played pro. That there are teams in D3 hockey that just didn't produce pro players. Why? There really wasn't a place for them. Because when the Feds, because the SPHL has always been small. I mean, let's think about the SPHL. It's always been 10, 11 teams, 9 teams, 8 teams. The Fed has trying to balloon up, right? It's opened up more space, but it's only in its 17th season, right? Are we in the 17th or 16th? I can't remember.
We're 16th season.
16th season.
15th? No,
15th.
Port Huron, Port Huron's been here for 14, correct?
So they were in the second year of the league, right? They started in the second year or the third?
I think it was the second year. 2016, they won the cup. And when was the FPHO was brought in the year before that?
2010, 2011.
Yep.
So think about it this way, right? 20 years ago, no Fed. I think we were seeing the end of the CHL back in the old days, the old CHL. The UHL was dying out or dead by then, even 20 years ago. There wasn't a place for D3 hockey players to go. And now we have elite ones. One of the players on the Binghamton Black Bears that was also a part of a top 10 D3 school up in Utica, New York, is Austin DeRazio on defense. He's only scored, 14 goals this season. Dakota Bond leaves, right, for personal reasons. D-Raz comes in, and is scoring just as much as Dakota Bond would, right? One defenseman on our whole team scores. Everybody else thinks about defense on the team, and it just works. But the level of quality of players is just outstanding right now in the league.
Yeah, and
all
next
across
year
the board.
I think I go back to you saying Port Huron bringing talent. I think one of their biggest talent signings in the past was Lucas Lockney. Okay,
sure.
He came in last year. He spent a lot of time in the SP, and when he came back from the SP, he really showed a different style of hockey. And I think going to the SP and coming back to the FPHL brings that with you. You bring that to the team, and you're a whole new threat, right? You're a whole new threat for any team. You know, you could be like the low end guy. You go up to the SP for 3 weeks, you come back, and you're a whole new guy. Yeah. But let's not forget, you talk about puck control. We talk about shooting on Tomei this weekend. Let's not forget Reggie Millette. Reggie Millette. I know he's a big topic in bingo.
Well, I mean, you know, again, we're a mature audience most of the time here in Binghamton, right? But there are some people that, you know, they know the story, they know the past, and they think it's their right to continuously be involved in that way. It's unfortunate for what happened to the kid. It's unfortunate what happened to Reggie. It's unfortunate just in general, right?
But I'm going off. You know,
no. I know.
Talent,
But he's got talent. I look at someone like Jacob Schnapp. This guy can't keep himself out of trouble. But if you seriously watch him play the game, there are certain things he can do on the ice that will impress you. But you got to get past the stupidity that he does sometimes, right? Now, I'm not saying Reggie's
he's a big talk around the league. I mean, he is. Jacob Schnapp's a whole new level of dirty.
Right. But I would put Reggie and Jacob on the same level as skill. They have the skill. They can score goals. They can pass the puck. They know where to be on the ice at the same time. It just depends on whether or not Jacob wants to play hockey that day or go sit in the box or have an early release from the game and then get suspended for a couple of games. Reggie doesn't do that much, but they're very similar players on the ice otherwise, right?
Reggie's another guy that can get in your head, though. He can get in your head. And, you know, but what happened last, you know, against Indiana, that was a whole new Reggie. And, you know, people have two different sides, you know. That guy for Indiana, I mean, he's a dangerous guy. He's a dangerous guy. I mean,
are we talking about the kicking incident? The
kicking incident. Yeah, that's a very dangerous, bold move to do.
I've never seen someone get on his back and basically, no, I've seen guys turtle all the time, but you turtle down with your head down. You turtle down. You don't.
Right.
Well, you're on your back, and then you start pedaling a bike, and that's what he was doing. He was doing the bicycle kick motion, and I've never seen anything like that before in hockey. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen guys literally kick another player's leg with their skate. I've seen stuff like that.
I've seen him knee him in the head.
I've never seen anything like that where he literally looked like he was riding a bike, and I'm doing it here at my desk, you know, like he was doing it, but he was on his back, and I'm like going, really? You felt the need to look like, first of all, I hope someone like makes a meme out of that, because it's
there's
silly.
memes. There's memes. Trust me, there's memes.
I haven't seen it, but what I'm saying is like, it's so silly. That's not hockey. There's nothing about that.
And the thing is he's a hot topic in Portland. I mean, I think he's a hotter topic than Bingo coming to town. You know, he's just and to see Reggie kind of, you know, there was stuff that happened between them before, and I see the keyboard warriors. We always say it, keyboard. Sure. You know, you're big behind the keyboard, but you won't go to Reggie and say that to his face. Type thing. No. But you know, it's okay. Reggie's past is his past, right? It's his past. But for Matt Graham to give him that opportunity,
sure,
and Port Huron loves him. Port Huron loves him. I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody probably thought, oh, this is what happened, But once you get to know the guy and you watch the guy play, he's a big name to your team. I mean, he's one of your top players on your team.
Well, Richard, have you ever done anything stupid in your life?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Justin, have you ever done anything stupid in your life?
Yeah.
I have done something that's stupid in my life probably more times.
But we
than
keep going, right? We keep going.
But we keep going, and you keep playing. I think the more recent one where the guy who had the incident where he did something he shouldn't have done. He went to jail for 3 years. The league let him sign with a team, and then the fans kind of went crazy, and so the league had to indefinitely suspend him, right?
Mm-hmm.
At some point the fans decide whether or not you get a second chance, right?
And that's what I was getting at with Reggie is,
he's been given that second chance, and he's proven that he can be good when he needs to be good when things are going bad. Well, guys, I'll give you this. I've been covering hockey for a long time, and there are 3 things in hockey that I say make a player. Physical skill is number 1. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is mental fortitude. Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you crack under pressure? Do you blow up? Right. And how you react to that blow up. And then number 3 is hockey IQ. Think about that for a second. 2 of those 3 are mental, that have to do with the brain, have to do with the heart and the brain and communicating and doing the right things, right?
And I could say when I played hockey, I was maybe 1. And I was a hothead.
Okay.
You get in my ear, I'm going to break.
So your mental fortitude wasn't a Connor McAnanama. It was maybe a Ben Brockway, where you like to muck it up a little bit and kind of go a little crazy, right? Yeah. Hockey IQ is the intelligence, the smarts of hockey, knowing what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and whatnot. And then physical skill is, can you shoot a puck? Can you skate? Do you have a good edge? Do you have the abilities to hit the corners, right? Yep. Toe drag, things of that nature. But if 66% of the game is mental, that's sometimes the hardest thing for some players, especially in this league, right? They don't know how to control their emotions. They don't know how to do certain things. But Matt Graham gave Reggie Millette, who obviously had a mental break in that one instance a long time ago, and he gave him a second chance.
Yep.
And fans don't have to like it, but by golly, he's there. And the team, the Black Bears, the Rockers, the Topeka Scarecrows, they got to play against him.
Yep.
And they can't let what happened in the past get in the way because he's there.
But see, that's what's going to bingo, rowdy fan group. They boo him like crazy. They let it eat him up. Him up. And I talked to Reggie. I said, "You're going to bingo this weekend. They're gonna boo you every time you touch the puck." He goes, "I feed off of it now. I've scored on it before."
I bet you at first it took him back a little bit. And then once you get used to it, if you have good mental fortitude and you don't let stuff like that get in your way or bother you, then that makes you a better player in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, it really does. It's here.
Yeah.
You can overcome the battles in your brain.
So much of it.
And it's hard. It's hard in hockey. It is. It is very hard in hockey.
It's a passionate game.
Yes.
That's the thing that I don't think people understand the most.
But the thing is, Port Huron has one of those guys. They have one of those guys that'll break and stuff. And, they got little shirts with the baby body and Alex Johnson's head on it. Alex Johnson has come a long ways this year. He has not broke down. He has not, retaliated. He's not the same Alex Johnson.
Well, think about it this way, Justin. Neither has Brant Sherwood. Now, most of the guys on our team do not break down like that, and they haven't for the past 3 years. It's one of the reasons why they've won championships, right?
Yeah.
But Brant Sherwood, he's the one that wants to throw the water bottle. He's the one that wants to get Not this year. This year, nothing has phased him this year. He gets angry. He just sucks it back in and continues the
Lets
game.
it all out in the locker room. That's where you need to let it out at.
There you go. Kick up trash can. Do not get involved in the game.
And you know
when you're a
who
coach.
actually does have a hot temper, but he soaks it in just like Sherwood does, is Chris Paulin. You want to talk, we can talk. You want to point fingers, we can put.
Have you seen those two guys go at each other between the glass? That's awesome. That's like that's the one time where I'm like, I love watching Brant kind of go off is when he's going off on Chris Paulin.
And Chris Paulin's gone off on Everett Thompson. Everett Thompson's gone off on Chris Paulin. You know, it's just it makes the game so much better when you're watching two coaches go at it, right?
But you have to get to a point and then you have to stop because you have to play the rest of the game. And
Everett Thompson doesn't do that though. I mean, if you get Sherwood underneath Everett Thompson's skin, it just boom right there, boom, just explodes.
One last note before we go about Everett Thompson. Before we go, Everett Thompson this weekend was fired up. He was yelling on his bench. Then we all realized he was yelling at one of his own players, and he just kept going. I think it was Ethan Esposito, his best offensive player. He just was going off on him. Nobody knows for what. Obviously, games were 5-0, 4-0, 3-0 at points during the game. He probably didn't like something that Ethan did on the ice, offensively or maybe defensively, right? And he just was going off, but it was so funny. I'm like going, who's Everett going at? And then somebody across the way had to tell me he was yelling at one of his own players. And like what you see in videos when he's doing it with the other coaches, he was doing it to one of his own players. That's how much of a passion he is.
Yeah, I do see that. But also that can also hurt the mental stage of that player. I'm like, why is my coach
100%. I've seen it throughout the years where there are certain coaches that really get into the head of players and it kind of screws them up. It's happened. I saw it at the AHL level a lot. There are some coaches that are really good coaches, but don't understand you can't teach and coach every player the same way. So if you come in and you're a hard ass coach, you're going to turn off some of the guys who want to be babied, who want to be felt loved by the coach and be a pal and be a friend and stuff like that. There are some players that need that, right? The best coaches that are coaching in any level of hockey, from youth hockey all the way up to the NHL, the best coaches are the ones that know how to coach Justin differently than Richard, then differently than Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Communication is the big skill.
And I think coaching in hockey, we can be friends off the ice, behind the scenes, whatever. But when you step foot on that ice, I'm your coach, right?
Yeah.
I'm your coach. So, I mean, I'm going to coach, like you said, coach everybody different. Yeah. But let's not baby certain players. Let's not build a clique and, you're not good enough to be in this clique. So let's move on with you and find someone else to join our group.
Now I'm going to, before we end this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to ask the outcome of this weekend from all three of us. What's the outcome's going to be? I'm going to write it down.
Bob, you're the guest, so you can go first. Now you can be biased if you want, but what's the outcome for both games?
As most people know on the show, when we do the Power Play Post show, sometimes I'll ask Taylor, my co-host, what she thinks the outcomes of the games are going to be. Yep. This past weekend, I said, listen, we're going to definitely beat Indiana both games. And I don't usually say that. I usually go in thinking a split. And I'll tell you why I usually go into that. First of all, Binghamton's traveling to Port Huron, which means they're going to travel on Thursday to get to there. They'll pack up their bags 8:00 in the morning on Thursday. They'll be on the bus by 9:30, 9:15, and then whatever the amount, 14, 15 hours, whatever it takes to get to Port Huron. Then they check into the hotel. They, a couple of the guys might go over to the ring to help unload the gear with the equipment manager, Aiden. There's a lot to do. The travel is travel, right?
No.
You go, and then you wake up the next morning. I'm sure Port Huron will give Binghamton about an hour and 15, an hour 30 on the ice so they can get their legs warmed up, or maybe it's only 45 minutes, whatever they
I think Port Huron does 2 hours. They do their 2 hours
on game day.
Game day, I think they do an hour and a half, and then Bingo will take the rink for so long, and then
it'll be probably like around 1 o'clock or 12:30, whatever, right? So because of that, I always go into a weekend like this as a split, right? Binghamton loses the first night and then wins the second night. Now
don't say that. I won't be there till Saturday, so we got to flip flop that.
But I'm just saying, that's my gut feeling, because that's how I go in thinking positive thoughts, right? A split is still good, right? You go on the road to the number 2 team in the division and you get a split. I'll take that all day long, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I think. I think they go in on Friday. Their legs are not there because they had to sleep in hotel beds the night before. No excuses. I'm not using it as an excuse. This is hockey. People go on road trips. When you go to your mom's house and sleep, you don't sleep the same as you do when you're in your own home, right?
Right.
It's different.
Well, sometimes I sleep better. Sometimes I sleep better because there's no dogs barking.
Fair enough. But you understand my point.
Canada? Or do they go around Canada?
They go around Canada, I believe.
Yeah, you can't go through Canada because not every guy is going to have passports. Not every guy is going to have all that stuff. So they got to go around. They got to go around the lakes, basically.
So that makes it 14 hours.
Yeah, I know that a few of the guys will get in a car and they will drive through Canada because they can. Like last year, one of the road trips to Michigan, I believe it was Brant Sherwood, Brooks Hill, and 2 other people. I think 2 of them were players, and they actually drove through Canada, where the rest of the team had to be on the bus and had to be in their
8 hours and 14 hours is totally different.
Exactly. So but I'm going to guess that most of them will be on the bus and they'll go around the lakes, and it'll be the 14-hour trip. All right. So look. What do you guys think?
Justin, I'll let you go.
Oh man. All right. Well, I'm going to go with a split too. Obviously, it's been a trending thing with Port Huron and Bingo. It's been a split. Obviously, we haven't played that much. But you're in McMorran. Okay, I'm going to take that for advantage. You're in McMorran. It's a routed group there. The fans there, they eat almost every team this year alive. They get in their heads. We've had players screaming at other fans because they're just Section 9, especially. Yeah. They're just in their heads. That's going to be the difficult part. But I think Friday night, Bingo's going to win it. I think they get enough rest. I'm assuming they have a nice bus. They should. They have a NHL style locker room, so why not? But I think they win Friday night, and I think Chris Paul and the boys regroup and they win by 1 on Saturday.
So you and I are complete opposites right now.
I just think because Friday night has never been good for Prowler hockey. It hasn't been good for Prowlers. So I'm feeding off of that.
Richard, what do you think?
Come on, Richard.
Listen, I'll tell you what he wants to say.
He wants to sweep.
He wants to sweep for Port Huron. He wants to say it, but he knows that logically it's hard when we do shows like this, right? And you want to be like, listen, everyone knows when I do my show, when you listen to the show, I'm a Binghamton hockey fan, but I'm a credentialed hockey media member, right? I literally go in with my credential. I sit up in the press box and I do my thing. I take pictures throughout the game. I do all that. But I'm a Binghamton hockey fan. I started BinghamtonHockey.net 21 years ago because I love the history of Binghamton hockey, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to say, oh, they're going to come in and they're going to kick your guys' asses up and down the ice. Best skill. But I know hockey better than that. I'm a New York Rangers fan. I've been humbled more times than no other team has humbled me more than the New York Rangers.
Well,
right?
Hold on. Detroit, the Steve Eisenman plan has humbled me a lot lately. So
fair enough.
I'm going to ask the other guy, because we usually have myself, Justin, Andy on.
Yeah,
Andy, I'm going to ask Andy his thoughts, and I will message you directly. But
you got to say it. You got to say it right here.
No. I'm going to tell I'm gonna tell Bob what Andy picks because I think it's
Yeah.
appropriate.
Oh yeah, we'll text you. We'll message Bob that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I don't care about Andy's picks. I want your picks.
Yeah,
I'm getting to my point, man.
Okay.
Give me a break.
He's trying to beat around the bush here.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would love a sweep, but I don't see it happen. I think I'm gonna go with the split.
But which split? My split or Justin's split? Who wins the first game on Friday night?
I think Port Huron wins it on Friday night.
All right.
Just
think so?
because
That's
just
so
because just because Bingo has to travel in, 14 hours on a bus, you don't have your legs, you don't have the rest that you need.
But Bingo has, again, they haven't traveled that far this year. So
No, we haven't.
But Bingo also won Friday night when they came in, and then Saturday night, Port Huron beat them last time.
Yeah, so the split last time was that way. Yep.
Yeah, and playoffs last year, we beat them on Friday night. But Bingo also had, a game. They didn't have a game, but they had, I'm sure, a tremendous practice all week, which I think hurt them.
Justin's looking at history a little bit, and I completely understand that. Sometimes I look at the history of it, and then I just still go with my gut. My gut says Binghamton loses on Friday, but wins on Saturday. Because the one thing that Binghamton does better than any team in this league, they make adjustments from game to game.
And that's where I'm going with it too, is Port Huron, like history. In the beginning of the season, we were all known as we can't win on Friday nights. We always split with every team. We're just barely a 500 club. This year, they're not. This year, they're not. As much as I want to say they're going to sweep, if they do sweep, if Port Huron does sweep, oh my God, we got to do a show and go, we were all wrong. But at the same time, I think through the tremendous work, the training and practices that Chris Paulin's going to put them through this week, it just wears them down on Friday night. They get their proper sleep they need Saturday. They look at film. They get their nap in. They come back like Prowlers normally do on Saturday, regroup, and they just shut you down.
We'll see. We will see how that turns out.
I think for Andy, we know where Andy's going to go. Andy's going to say sweep, but
it's too bad. Well, you know what, guys? We'll have to do this again when we can have Andy on with us. That would be great because I know he's an energetic guy. And it'll be interesting to have.
He's that number one fan. He's on commercials and everything. So,
is he really?
Well,
go on, go ahead, Richard.
He is
if you look at the Prowlers, if you look at the Prowlers commercial where it says this ain't your dad's average hockey game, he's the guy in the yellow jersey next to his son with a beer in his hand.
Gotcha.
Perfect. Because he's a sponsor of Section 9, and he will tell you the history behind that when we have him on.
Perfect.
But Bob, I thank you for hopping on to talk about this week.
This was fun, Bob.
This was fun.
It was great to talk to you guys, and I'm not usually on this end of the microphone, so to speak. Getting questions, but one of the things that you guys do very well, and I hope you guys continue to do it this way. Just have conversations with people. When you bring them on as guests, just have conversations. It's how I've interviewed all of the hockey players that I've ever done. I don't have a list of questions in front of me. I look at their I look at their history. I look at their careers. And just know, okay, you played here. Let's talk a little bit about some of that. And then follow-up questions are so huge. This has been great. Just a good conversation about hockey.
I thank you, Bob. I really do. From Thumb Fed to you, I appreciate you taking the time on your day to come on and share this wherever it needs to be shared. That's
absolutely.
all I can say. Let's grow.
Yeah, give us a shout out. We'll give you a shout out,
Awesome.
When this video's done, I will send it your way, and you can do whatever you want with it, Bob.
Send me the link. That would be awesome.
Just don't throw it away. Make sure you save it in your folder. So if
I don't know how to throw away a link. I don't know how to throw away a link.
Hey, Bob, you have a lovely evening. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Who you guys
hey. Who are you taking, Bob?
I'm hoping Seattle wins. Just because, obviously the Patriots have had so much in the last 20 years because of obviously Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, who are arguably the two of the best minds in pro football's history. I'll grant them that. I'll give them that. Yeah, he's a great player. Well, he played with Michigan, right? So you guys should like Brady a little bit. Seventh round draft pick from Michigan. How many games did he play for Michigan? Not many, right? Not many. Wasn't he a backup for a couple years?
He was a backup.
Yeah.
He was a backup his whole life.
So think about that for a second. A guy from Michigan, one of the best schools in college football history, right? As a backup for a couple of the seasons, at least if I remember correctly, then goes and wins 6 Super Bowls, basically.
And a national championship, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping for Seattle to win, just for something different. Good game is all I can ever ask for. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, so my team hasn't been there for 30 years. Next year, it'll be the 30-year anniversary since the last time we were there. And I don't foresee until Jerry Jones drops dead that they'll ever be back.
I'm taking New England.
Okay. Rich?
Taking New England. Just because that quarterback of theirs is he's tremendous. He's a young, he reminds me of Tom Brady. He isn't Tom Brady. There will never be another Tom Brady in my eyes. But
he's playing well. He played well.
But he's playing very well. Yep.
Yeah.
I say Seattle. I want to see Sam Darnold win one.
There you go.
Quarterback that no one wanted to care for.
I still don't care for him. I still don't care for him.
Well, Bob, thank you again for Thumb Fed Talk. We will maybe have another podcast, us again, future down the road.
Perfect.
Right? When we meet each other, right?
Yeah, well, you guys either got to get to Binghamton or I got to get to Port Huron.
Hey, you come to Port Huron, we'll buy you tickets.
I like it. But I have a feeling Will Wiggleman will get me into the arena. He's a good guy.
He is a good guy.
He is a very good guy.
But
you can have free tickets from
this weekend.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I appreciate
it. There you go.
Thank you very much.
See you later, Bob. Want to have a wonderful evening.
You too.
See you, Bob.